Hello, friends and enemies. It's Alfred Judson. Guess what? Steve is at school learning what his children are learning for this year. So he can't make it this week.
Sorry, Steve.
Instead, we have Kelly filling in.
Yay!
And helping deliver a good show for all you good friends and enemies out there.
I sure hope.
So anyway, my name is Alfred Judson. My lovely wife Kelly is here to join us.
Hi.
This is Nerd Pod Generation. If you haven't listened to us before, you should definitely go back and listen to all of our back catalog. Go to nerdpodgen.com.
Every episode is gold.
It's all good. It's all good stuff. You can listen to all the hot takes that we had that ended up being bad, and all of the hot takes that we ended up being like, yeah, no, it was even worse than we thought. So there's
justification.
There's a lot of stuff out there that has been real hit or miss. We're gonna have to upload all the Acolyte rants into its own YouTube playlist.
Absolutely.
Coming up. But anyway, listen to us on Spotify, Apple, really wherever you get podcasts. And yeah, Kelly, how you doing?
Whew, what a week.
I know, it's been a time.
What a time.
The whole of August was a time.
Yeah, it was.
Between one thing and another. But we're here now.
We're making it through?
Yes. That's the big thing, is that even with everything that's going on, we are still trucking forward.
Yep.
We usually begin the show with Watch, Play, Read. Would you like to talk about anything you've been watch, play, reading?
Sure. So I've been playing this really fun game. It's currently in early access on Steam. It's called Reka. I saw this previewed on TikTok like ages ago.
Oh yeah.
We're like, oh yeah. And it's like a little fun RPG. You are Baba Yaga's apprentice, and you run around and do little witchy tasks. It's very like spooky cozy, which is a great new subgenre that is now starting to permeate the millennials.
It reminds me a lot of Over the Garden Wall.
Yeah, it is very much that like vibe and color palette, and it's really fun so far. I think by the time this episode goes out, the 10% discount will no longer be up, but it is currently in early access while they finish up the game. It's really fun. After you do the story stuff that they have available, there's a nice little sandbox mode, and you can just build up a bunch of resources, build your little chicken house. It's so fun.
I was a little surprised at how much of a chicken the chicken house is.
Oh, yeah.
With the Baba Yaga, I'm used to the chicken feet.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting a whole chicken body and tail.
There's a basement, kinda.
Yeah.
A fleshy basement.
Can you go in the fleshy basement?
No. Anyway, but it is only like $20, so if you want to drop some money on a fun indie game this year, highly recommend it.
Nice. Yeah. It's been really fun watching you play it and discovering all the things about it, finding out you can bring pets home.
Oh my gosh, the best. And as someone with Eastern European heritage, it's just so fun to see a game with so much of that aesthetic.
Yeah.
'Cause it's so beautiful.
And it's taking it back from John Wick. I never understood why John Wick... It's like somebody looked up Russian monsters, but didn't actually look up anything about it. And they were like, oh, Baba Yaga. Yeah, that's good. And nothing else about it. But no, I agree. It has a great aesthetic, has a great look. Yeah. How's the music? I haven't listened to any of the music in it yet.
I've only listened to a little bit of it just because I had like other stuff going on in the background. But it's really nice so far. Very, folky, chill.
All right. Is it like ambient or is it?
Yeah, it is more ambient, which is totally fine.
Yeah.
But I'm sure like as stuff develops and
Yeah, because there was another game that just got funding that they were... Oh no, it was Izzy Roland's movie.
Yeah.
Where they got funding enough to get a full score.
Yeah.
And I appreciate the ambient vibes that a lot of games have these days.
Certainly.
But I do miss having like a full, really great orchestral...
Yeah, when it's done right, it's just so tasty. It's wonderful.
I grew up on Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy. And
that Chrono Trigger, I have not played that game, but boy, do I know the music.
Yeah.
It is so good.
Yeah.
Before I wrap up my segment, I did also want to throw in, there's a great game that I actually got to play a beta version of called Tiny Glade, which is dropping, I think, in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, pretty soon.
Also probably going to be pretty cheap because it's a little indie game. It's a castle, like sandbox little. It's like a little castle Lego.
Yeah.
You know? But you can make it however you want. There's some really nice, like, detail work you can do. They're adding ponds and stuff.
I was going to say, the landscaping video that you sent me. Because, like, a lot of Tiny Glade is just the aesthetic. It's just, you're not only building castles, but you're building the meadows and forests around it.
Oh my god. And the build space for the, like, demo and beta version is pretty small. The version that we're gonna get when it drops in a couple weeks is freaking enormous. Like, you could build, like, a full castle.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh my god. I can't wait to see what people do. Because it's gonna be so nice.
I can only imagine DMs will be able to do some really fun things with this.
Oh, yeah.
And so, yeah, it reminds me a lot of, if anybody hasn't seen it, look it up. Adam Savage on Tested, the YouTube channel, went to Weta. Do you remember this video? And they had
the interchangeable pieces for, like, the tabletop game. That is a really cool video.
It's incredible. It's incredible.
It's really amazing. There's something to be said. I know people are like, oh, you know, 3D printing stuff isn't, like, you know, sculpting it by hand. But really, sometimes just the paint job alone is so incredible.
Yeah.
And it really shows, like, the capabilities of how 3D printers can be used in various ways. And it's just really fun.
As someone who has spent years kit bashing action figures.
Yeah,
it's not just about the molding of the thing. It's about what you do with it after it's in form.
Yeah.
So, no, I love watching you play both games, especially Tiny Glade.
Oh.
Tiny Glade is just such a you game.
It really is. You know, I play a lot of Sims, and I love the Sims, and I've gotten to a point where, like, 95% of the time, I'm just building stuff. Yeah. It's just really fun. My dad's an architect. What can I do?
It's in your blood.
It's in my blood.
Yeah. So the few things that I wanted to bring up, first and foremost, I wanted to talk about the Cornetto trilogy. Ooh. Which, all the things that you've watched, I have watched with you, and I haven't watched that much without you, honestly. So it's really just a question of how much you were actually watching versus playing. So
or sleeping.
Or sleeping, as the case might be. Obviously, Shaun of the Dead has its big anniversary coming up. Going back to that was so fun.
It was. Especially, like, as Halloween gets closer.
Yeah. It's such a good Halloween movie. I mean, it doesn't even have a period that it takes place in.
Yeah.
So you can really watch it any time of the year. But I love just that era of filmmaking when you didn't have all the CGI.
Yeah.
Like, when they go all in on the CGI, you get into trouble.
The ways they use it. And most of it's just, like, comping things together that they did do practically.
Exactly.
Just so, and the sweet spot.
I still love the scene when they're beating the bar owner to Queen. And just because I remember seeing a behind the scenes about how they did that. They all had earpieces in playing the songs so everybody could stay on rhythm. And it was just like, I already love this scene, and then I saw this, and now I just really appreciate it on a second level.
Yes.
And then Hot Fuzz, what can you say that hasn't already been said? It's just a brilliant movie.
It's so fun. It's just fun.
It's just fun. The thing that I picked up the most on in this run was that I really noticed how much Nicholas and Danny share a lot of romantic lines together.
Yes.
Like, a lot of the lines that you would hear in a romantic couple are between Nicholas and Danny.
Yeah.
And it's really great. And there's something amazing about watching Nick Frost and Simon Pegg act together. I hope they do another project again soon. They haven't done anything together since the Cornetto trilogy finished.
Not in that
because they were
way.
Both in Box Trolls, but I don't think they were recording at the same time.
No, there was another movie where they both had cameos.
Oh, yeah?
As cops recently.
Oh, they were in Tintin.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah. But again,
it's also just so cute.
It's
what
a great
fun
movie.
Little nod.
But just, I love Hot Fuzz. It's I still love World's End the most.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about World's End, but it's so special to me. It might just be that that's the one that I saw in theaters. It might be a myriad of things, but
that's fair.
I love that movie so much. I did want to bring up the Time Quangle.
Yes! Oh my god, we got the first Time Quangle!
So anybody who does drop out on Dropout, you know that Dimension 20 had their live shows recently. and this is the first of their European UK live shows.
Oh my god!
That they recorded.
They're so cool.
And it's basically they just take all of the it's like six seasons or something.
At least.
Yeah, of the core members and Brennan as DM. And they basically have the players roll to find out who they're going to play.
Yeah, they just did a live show of their own multiverse, which is kind of the most cool thing you could possibly do.
And it was a really great episode.
Yeah.
It had some really fun bits.
Yeah.
It
was so cool to see certain characters interact.
Yeah. I love the way that Allie approaches everything with their little peppermint boy. The way that they harass Ricky Matsui is so good. I just enjoyed the whole thing. I can't wait to see when Lou is there too. That's gonna be the cake.
Oh, it's gonna be amazing.
But I was so happy with Time Quangle.
Yes.
It was really fun. It was exactly what I wanted it to be.
Yes.
I'm
so glad we have more.
Nothing will be funnier to me than them trying to destroy a candy dragon because it can't touch water. And Ricky realizing only after they've defeated it that he can conjure like a foot cubed water at will anytime.
Whoops.
It's a cantrip, and it's just like, God damn it.
But it was more fun this way, right?
Fun. It was more fun to hear Emily pulling this dragon down a village well, and Brennan's just flustering at the fact that the dice are saying, yeah, this happens, and him being like, okay.
You're the boss.
We're gonna see how this goes.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Rings of Power.
Yeah.
I did mention on our YouTube, if you don't subscribe to our YouTube, you should, because I post updates there more than anywhere else, because that's where I have the easiest access, that we are going to be covering Rings of Power coming up. Mm-hmm. Right now, you and I have watched the first episode and a half. I've watched the first two.
Yeah.
We are going to be covering as much of it as we can. I don't know that we're going to do all of it, because when I made that post on YouTube, it was under the assumption that there were like 3 episodes. There's 6 episodes by the time we record next.
Yeehaw!
So we might not cover everything in one episode. We might break this down. But without getting too deep into it, I'm actually more happy with this than I thought I was going to be.
That's kind of the general consensus I've been hearing.
Yeah.
And I'm very relieved, because there's few things as painful as your home fandom getting bashed by everybody.
Yeah.
And, in some instances, it's deserved. It's still not fun.
You don't like it.
You don't like it.
You don't.
Because you want people to like the thing you want.
Well, and it waters the thing down. The thing is so special and peerless, and then it waters it down.
Yeah, I know.
This is the thing. But the other thing that I wanted to bring up, I know, but I wasn't gonna say it, but I did have the thought. The
example that goes too far?
Well, the issue for me in Spider-Man is that I thoroughly dislike the new movies.
I know.
And everybody else talks about how great they are.
Ooh, that is also a rough problem.
And so instead of hearing everybody talk about like, oh, Rings of Power is such a letdown.
Yeah.
It's, Spider-Man Homecoming is so good. And it really captured the essence of the character in a way that it had never been done before. It's just like,
Yeah. If Rings of Power pulls a final season of Game of Thrones, then that's probably the moment where I'd be like, God fucking damn it.
Well, I think I mentioned this to Steve. I don't know if you heard me say it or not, but I'd be interested to see what you thought, which is that I heard this idea online that the difference between Rings of Power and Lord of the Rings is that Lord of the Rings is art. Rings of Power is entertainment. And so that's the big crux of the issue between fans and the show, is that they're used to art, and this isn't meant to be art. This is meant to be entertainment.
I can see that. I think the other important thing to note here is that the movies are movies.
Yeah.
And this is not only technically like a made for television kind of format, but it's like this digital age of television with streaming, which is so goddamn weird now.
Well, and you look at the difference between...
There are no more rules.
No. You look at the difference between the original trilogy and The Hobbit.
Yeah.
And how things just got so bumpy there.
Yeah.
In terms of, like, now everything's digital and you're making Ian McKellen cry. You went from having the coolest effects ever to making Ian McKellen cry.
Yeah. And I from what I have seen from some of the behind-the-scenes stuff, they did kind of pedal back on relying so heavily on green screen for certain stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it's as noticeable as it is in The Hobbit sometimes.
Yeah.
And you can totally tell that it's... This was the other thing. With the Lord of the Rings movies and the Hobbit movies, you could tell it was, for the most part, the same people making it overall, right? Whereas this is not being made by that creative team. And they took a lot of influence, but you can tell that this is not the same group of people putting their love and sweat and tears into it.
We're going to get back to that in just a second. I did want to give a little NFL update because we're 2 weeks in.
Uh-oh.
Things are going better for us than we thought they were going to go.
So far.
They're going a little rockier for Steve than the world thought that it was going to go. So far, our predictions are holding up pretty well, although I think Steve was a little high on some teams like the Dolphins and the Jets, especially with Tua going out. Tua's officially on the IR. Yeah,
he's out for at least, 4 games or something?
4 games, at least, at minimum.
If he doesn't retire.
And now we've gotten into, there's this whole thing where Tua signed a new contract, and the Dolphins put in some guarantees in case he does have to retire from injury. But the way that he gets those guarantees is only if the doctors say he cannot play football anymore. If he gets cleared at all, at any level...
I have so many things I could say about that.
He loses all that guaranteed money. I think it goes from $160 million to $80 million. It gets, like, cut in half. I mean, we're still talking about millions of dollars, but, like, still. In football standards, that's enough to make a person put their life on the line.
Which you don't want.
No.
Not for anyone.
No. I hate the Dolphins, and I
don't wish that kind of harm on anyone.
I feel terrible about every time it happens. And so I will say for the Bills, I'm very happy with how our season's going. I'm glad that the fat trimming seems to have actually helped make our team better, which I didn't think was going to be the case.
You know, we're getting stuff done.
The offense is running better.
Yeah.
My thing right now for the entire season is that we got to stay humble and hungry.
Yeah.
That's it. That's got to be the entire season, humble and hungry. So anyway, we'll see how that goes this week against the Jaguars. Those fucking cats.
Yeah.
But we're going to hop over to the trailer park for a quick segment in the trailer park.
Heck yeah.
And I want to return to that whole thing that we were talking about of art versus entertainment.
Ooh, yeah.
So that you can give your reaction to War of the Rohirrim.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I was worried you were going to ask me about something entirely different.
No.
Oh, God. Ugh. Where do I start?
I know, right?
Where to start?
Because you were talking about how this has a similar but different aesthetic because Peter Jackson and that whole crew.
They had a huge hand in it.
Yeah.
Compared to Rings of Power.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is insane and beautiful and wonderful. And the fact that they have trusted this animation house with this, and just the payoff is so good. Like it looks so good.
It looks so much more of the world of Lord of the Rings than Rings of Power does.
Yeah. Whenever I watch any of the animated productions based on Tolkien's work, there's always the thought in the back of my mind where, like, Tolkien straight up was like, there's no way these could ever be made into movies. And animation, for the longest time, was the workaround for that, because you could do anything, because it was animation.
Yeah.
And, oh my god, wow. And those are some of the, like, best interpretations as well. And to see it in, like, this medium, and it definitely has the, like, anime flavors in it. You know, stylistically aside, just some of the tropes, like, feel very much like a lot of anime.
It seems like Princess Mononoke at times.
Yeah, a little bit. because, you got the strong female hero, and then there's this, scrungly guy who's the bad guy, and
running on or riding hoofed creatures into combat.
Oh, and the music! I have to look up who does the music for it, because the music in the trailer was really lovely.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, I said this before and I'll say it again. I can't get over the shot of the eagle landing.
Yeah.
Like that shot.
Oh,
especially since in Rings of Power we're also going to get an eagle, and it just makes that eagle look like a joke.
Yeah.
When the eagle lands in the trailer for Rohirrim, God, it knocks you on your ass.
It's wild.
It's so incredible. I can't wait.
And you heard it a little bit, but Miranda Otto narrates parts of it, which is so exciting.
Yeah. No, I'm super hyped for this. Ever since they have that line to close. I love a good line at the end of the trailer to close. And the line of, I'm not afraid of you.
Yeah.
You should be.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so fucking good.
So I just looked it up. So the guy who does the music does not have his own wiki page. But he was a music editor for the Hobbit movies.
Oh.
And he worked really closely with Howard Shore, which bodes very well to me.
Yes, that's a good sign.
And obviously you can hear some of the motifs and stuff, but it makes me so happy.
I am beyond excited. This is by far the most excited I've been for something in years.
Can we go see it in the theaters?
Oh, 100%. Please, we're going to see it multiple times in theaters. I can almost guarantee you we will see multiple times in theaters.
Absolutely. I think when Return of the King first came out, which we are, approaching 20 years.
Yeah, it's getting up there. Actually, we just passed 20 years, didn't we? Was it 2003 or was it 2000?
Oh, no, you're right. It was. Oh, God. Anyway. No, when Return of the King came out, we saw in theaters that run probably 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
And I have at least 3 times seen all of the movies in a row.
Good for you. I still dream to do
that. Not the Hobbit
ones. No. Steve's not here. We can trash it. He's not here to defend it. We can take it on. His whole notion that you watch all 6 and it makes the Hobbit movies better. No. Steven, you will get your chance to debate this later.
That's a cheap cop-out because you're doing the worst ones first.
Yes, you have to sit through these.
Arguably.
Yes.
The worst ones.
The first one I still love because it hews closest to the book.
Yeah.
The last 2 are 50%ers at best.
Yeah. Nah, if I'm gonna watch a Hobbit with all 3 Lord of the Rings movies, I'm gonna watch the Rankin and Bass.
Absolutely.
I don't care what anybody else says.
When they screwed up Bjorn, I was like, I'm done. I'm done. I'm out.
If you're not gonna do it right, don't do it at all.
Yeah.
That's why we didn't have Tom Bombadil.
I will never get over the worms just appearing out of the mountains, unpreempted, no information.
You're like, what is this?
When did this happen? Why is this a thing?
Where's the spice?
Oh my God, it was rough.
Anyway, we went on a bit of a tangent there.
Yeah, hey, that's the show. I did want to give you a chance because we were very lactose. We were very milquetoast on the Minecraft trailer. But you have actual opinions on this.
I have big feelings.
Yes, you do.
I was, as the kids say, an early adopter. I had Minecraft very close to when it first came out, to the point where I just had it as a .exe file.
Yeah.
That I got probably not legally from
through
an
ex-boyfriend.
And I just had it. It was just a program on my computer. I could just boot up and it was great. And there was, none of this other bullshit we have to do now with video games and how they're, acquired and everything. I've played a lot of Minecraft.
Yeah, because it's in that same kind of milieu as The Sims.
A little bit. And not even necessarily the creative mode, which is amazing, and I love the creative mode. But I've done the
survival mode.
Yeah, where you just run around and you mine until you get a nice sword and you kill lots of shit. I got a lot of stuff. And it's all probably gone at this point, but I don't care. It was really fun. Anyway, I have very strong feelings about the lack of proportions being honored and the roundness. And the Corridor crew had a couple of videos this weekend talking about their feelings about it. And I 1,000% agree with all of the things they had to say. And would go so far as to say that their Minecraft stuff that they have made is so much closer to what I would want.
Yeah. Some of it over 10 years old at this point.
And I get it. You can get away with a certain colorful saturation for a movie when you're trying to target it at families and kids. I don't know why we have to target it to families and kids.
No, I don't get
this.
You
really don't need to.
This is where I was with the Mario Brothers movie. I was like, why are we doing this?
Like, you know, when I was playing Minecraft, I was like in my late teens. I was in college, but it was real popular with those like 12, 13-year-old boys at that time. And they are no longer small children.
No.
They're now the, 20-something pimply bastards that play Call of Duty.
Yeah. They're now doxing their friends online.
But you always like to bring up it's not about if this movie is made for me, I should be able to enjoy any movie. I worry that with like family movies and things that they're trying to sell to such a wide audience, they really just water stuff down to a point where it's just intolerable.
Well, this is
as an adult who just wants their adult thing.
This is the zenith of that whole idea. As you look at Ghibli movies, Pixar movies, DreamWorks movies, and you say, okay, are these child approachable? Yes. Are they made for children?
Yeah.
No. They are made for anyone. Then you look at like the Beethoven movies or other crappy just family movies that are just milled out. These movies are made for families.
Yeah.
And if you're not in a family, it will feel like you're tearing your hair out. So that's why I hate it whenever anybody uses the argument, well, it's not made for you. Nothing should be made for me. I should be able to come into something with my own personal background and experiences and get a individualized experience from the thing.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be about whether it was made for me. Yeah. I should be able to come in and still get something out of it.
Yeah. My other thing is like, it's great if you have a target audience and you're trying to cater to that target audience. Sometimes your target audience is not the audience you should be worried about.
Yeah.
And I know you feel that way very strongly with Star Wars.
Yeah.
I feel that way very strongly about other things. And this is apparently one of them. And I didn't think I would be as upset as I am about it.
Yeah, it kind of creeps up on you when it happens.
To the point where I hope we Sonic movie this and they change some of the effects before it comes out. It's not going to happen.
No.
But God, do I wish.
No, they haven't had enough of a backlash. They've had a big backlash, but not enough of a backlash.
Yeah, there's too much other shit happening in the world for anyone to be really concerned about this.
No, my favorite thing that the Corridor crew brought up was that this whole movie was so painfully shot on green screen.
Oh, yeah.
Like the fact that not just that they're on this digital background, but the way that the actors move around in the space is so painfully green screen.
Absolutely tell that, in the olden days of movie making, in the 80s and 90s, if you had people who were in a video game and they were in like a certain space, like you could kind of get away with that better.
Yeah.
But in this, it's just not. It's just so noticeable.
My go-to example for what this movie looks like shouldn't be Spy Kids 3.
Yeah.
You know? It just shouldn't. No. It's not good. Especially when you think about what would this movie look like if you had matte paintings and actual physical blocks and everything was real and there.
Because this isn't one of those movies where, like, oh, I have a headset up on and I'm in the game. Like, it's not that. Clearly.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's not that.
It seems like they walk through a magical portal of some kind and find themselves in Minecraft land.
Like the Nether portal or whatever the fuck they're called. Well, it has a name. I just can't remember it right now. But yeah.
No, I'm curious to see how this does once it actually comes out. I'm not impressed at all.
Oh no! Oh no!
Not even a little. The other one that I wanted to talk about, there were two more that I wanted to talk about.
Hey, it is Nether Portal!
Hey! You get a nerd point.
I get a nerd point.
I did want to talk about two more trailers. One was Your Monster, which was the woman goes through a breakup, and suddenly she discovers a monster in her house who starts giving her pep talks. Do you remember this trailer?
Oh, vaguely. Oh, yeah. Oh, that looked really fun.
It looked really cute.
That looked really enjoyable.
Yeah. And it's like she's trying to get him to leave, and he's like, no, I live here. This is my house.
Yeah.
And I just found it so charming.
Yeah, the writing is it feels so much like a stage play almost.
Yeah.
With the writing. Their banter is really well done.
So I'm really excited to see that. That comes out in a few weeks. It's just a quiet little indie movie, but it looked great. I was super impressed with that trailer.
I hope it gets hot.
Yeah. The other one that I wanted to talk about was the Brothers trailer that we saw yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
With Peter Dinklage, Josh Brolin, and Brendan Fraser.
Brendan Fraser!
I'm so glad Brendan Fraser's back.
Hell yeah.
It makes me infinitely happy that Brendan Fraser's back.
Yeah.
I can't get over it. I'm just pleased.
It's nice to see him in movies where he's like a major character, but not necessarily the lead.
Yeah.
So he can really shine as a character actor.
Yeah.
Because he is... If you put him in the lens of a character actor, he's so freaking good.
Yeah.
Ah.
And he has that, between the voice and the face, there's so much tied up in his performances that just instantly hooks me.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I just love watching him.
Yeah.
It's nostalgia, it's appreciation, it's a bunch of different things.
And it feels nice when the actor, like, disappears into a role.
Yeah.
And I really get that vibe with this one with him.
But the whole movie looks funny. It's a crime caper. It's one brother is a criminal, the other brother is trying to go clean, but they need the whole family to pull off this heist.
It's like drag mom into it.
Oh man, this looks like a lot of fun.
So fun.
I'm very much looking forward to this one. This looked like just so funny, so sharp. So just enjoyable.
So good. Did you guys talk about the Night Bitch trailer at all?
I was gonna say, I wanted to see what you had to say about that.
Yeah, I would love to talk about Night Bitch.
Yeah, so
that looks really interesting.
For anybody who doesn't know what we're talking about, this is a new Amy Adams movie where she is a tortured housewife trying to keep her life together, very frustrated with how things are going, and she just can't sleep at night. And she starts thinking that she's turning into a dog.
Yeah.
And things just escalate from there.
Yeah. So this is so interesting because from what I read, this was like a very quiet book drop and like a handful of people read it and really enjoyed it, but it didn't really hit a lot of huge bestseller stuff. Mm-hmm. I think it was a pandemic release too. So apparently Amy Adams was attached to this very early on, which is really interesting. I think
she must be passionate about it.
Yeah, and the author has said, like, I really didn't think this weird little book that I wrote would ever be made into a movie. And it's like, not only is it dream come true for the author that it's being made, but it is apparently really close to the book.
That's always great
actually
to hear.
Really nice to hear.
Yeah.
I did hear a story Amy Adams was telling about filming this, and because her character thinks she's a dog and is turning into a dog and stuff, obviously she did a lot of acting work with other dogs, and they were apparently filming this one scene where it's like her and a few others, and they like did it in rehearsals and everything was fine, and they get to shooting and she did the thing dogs do where she like cocked her head a certain way. The dogs went ballistic. They were so freaked out. And I think that says a lot about how her performance is going to be in this movie.
Amy
if that's
Adams,
what happened.
I would love if this is the one that finally gets Amy Adams her Oscar.
You know?
That would be so great.
One can only hope, because that story alone, I'm really curious to see.
It looks like a really interesting movie. This is one more in the long line of trailers these days where you get about halfway through the trailer and you're like, okay, I think I know what's going on.
Yeah.
And then things turn and you're just like, nah, I had no idea. I had no idea where I was standing. I thought I knew.
Yeah.
We thought. But like, I don't know. I'm very curious about this one.
I feel like if this movie had been made like 8 to 10 years ago, they would have used that Shakira song She-Wolf for
Oh, 100%. I'm kind of surprised they didn't, honestly.
Yeah.
Just wait. If they ever get a trailer 2, it's coming.
You want to talk about Joker 2?
About Joker 2? No. No.
No?
The more I hear...
Shocking.
The more I hear... the less I like. I guess the only thing I like is that people are projecting that it's not going to do very well.
What? Crazy.
So I'm happy to hear that.
Imagine why. Man, I love Lady Gaga, and I was so disappointed when I heard she was attached to this. I was like, are you kidding me, babe?
I would watch Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn in something. Just she's
not this.
But she's palpably not Harley Quinn in this.
Yeah, she was instructed to not sing as well as she can.
Yeah. Because Joaquin Phoenix can't sing.
How dare you?
It's insane. The entirety of this thing.
Lean into it for the character. Just so many bad decisions.
The fact that they are releasing more and more clips of the movie just tells me that this is not going to go well.
Yeah.
This is not going to be, Lightning in a Bottle Part 2.
Yeah.
This is going to be something else.
Have you told the story on the show of how we lived near where they filmed?
I don't know that I have.
Oh, man. Can I tell it then?
Yeah, go ahead.
Awesome. So, dear listeners, as you might know, the website is under the Bronx Division tab because we used to live in the Bronx for solid 4.5, 5 years.
Almost 5 years.
Just about 5 years. Probably a year before we moved or so.
Yeah, about 2018.
Yeah. So a year or two before we moved away from the Bronx, we saw some signs up in our neighborhood, and it was we're filming something. And it was project... I think the project title was Prince or something.
Something like that.
Yeah. Because
the Clown Prince of Crime.
Yeah. But it just said Prince. And we're like, oh, that's interesting. And there were all these garbage bags out.
Some really retro old cars.
Oh man, there was this one day we were walking home and literally the whole block was filled with these retro cars. They had to, displace all the locals' cars that it's already bad getting parking there.
Well, and it's so funny looking back on it because the mountains of garbage bags are part of the plot of the movie.
Yeah, which we totally didn't realize.
Nobody knew that.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, interesting. There's just piles of garbage.
Yeah. I mean, okay. It's New York City. That can happen.
Yeah. I believe that.
And it's so funny because there's also a scene where they're in a cafe.
Yes.
And it's kind of implied that it was this cafe that was around the corner from us that definitely closed before we moved.
It closed before they shot there. That's
right. It just went bankrupt
something happened. I don't know what happened. It was a twin donut for anybody who's from New York.
Yeah.
And
it just closed
just suddenly one day it was gone. It was just gone.
Yeah.
And
but it's very clearly in the trailer, and when it dropped, we were like, "Oh, holy shit!
Holy shit!
That's us!"
Yeah, no, Zazie Beetz was at our Twin Donut.
Yeah,
sitting in a room.
Which is the second time it's happened.
Yes,
because there was an apartment we lived in before the Bronx, and they filmed some exterior shots for Emily Blunt's Girl on the Train.
Yeah,
and that was Our landlord's garage and office was turned into a liquor store, which could not be more ironic and hilarious.
Oh my god, the stories I have about
that man. Coincidental and hilarious, I should say.
I think hilarious is a good way to put it.
Yeah.
But no, the shot where Allison Janney is talking to a very drunk Emily Blunt outside of a corner with a weird door on the corner. That was our door.
That was our door. Craziest shit.
And the road that Allison Janney lives down, that was the road that we never went down because it was inconvenient to go down there until I had to turn our U-Haul around. And then I went down there and I was like, oh, this is what's down here. No, but having the Joker shot in our neighborhood was always so interesting because this was before it came out. This was when people were still kind of going back and forth about the entire idea of it and if it was going to spark anything bad
and
happening.
Then the movie sucked and we're like, well,
what are you going to do? Unless you were into that thing, in which case, this is your God? This will always be my reaction to anybody who likes the Joker. This is your God. This guy who couldn't fight Batman as a 12-year-old. This guy is your god.
Oh my god.
This guy? The one with the broken wee-wee? This guy. Anyway.
So that's our thoughts on Joker, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know that we have... Do we have anything else that we want to cover? Did you have any thoughts on Mufasa or Woman of the Hour, that new Anna Kendrick movie?
Oh, Woman of the Hour looks devastating.
It looks devastating. The trailer they dropped yesterday, holy shit.
That's giving me vibes of, like, Promising Young Woman, but way more devastating.
Yeah, way darker.
Way darker.
Like, you want there to be an avenging angel, and there's not gonna be.
And not to pull this card, but as a woman...
You can pull that card.
Like, seeing that... I can't even say it's a dramatization, because...
No.
That's what some guys do. And it's, like, the reality that we're just told we have to live with, and it is so awful and frustrating.
That scene where he's creeping on her and she's just trying to get away.
Following her.
It raised up a visceral feeling in me.
Oh, yeah.
Like a feeling of a protector. I need to stop what is happening. Yeah. Because I can't take watching this.
I could feel myself going into fight or flight.
Yeah,
With the same level that I felt as a 16-year-old at my first job who would get followed around the store by middle-aged guys.
Yeah.
It's...
That's going to be a heavy one.
That's going to be a heavy one. But Anna Kendrick is directing it, and that makes me feel a lot better that it's going to be handled with care.
It looks like it was masterfully directed, too.
Yeah.
Like, that shot she has at the very end of the trailer. Holy shit.
Oh, my God.
And then there's the whole game show element of the movie, too. That's easy to forget about. Is
that the same movie?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's all one movie.
Oh my god.
It's based on a true story.
Terrified.
Of this woman that goes on a dating show.
Yeah.
A way old 60s, 70s style dating show. And one of the guys that she has to go out with is a serial killer.
Jesus.
And I'm terrified to watch it, but I also desperately want to see it.
Yeah. If for nothing else but to support Anna Kendrick and everything she ever does forever.
Forever.
What was the other one?
Oh, you didn't have anything to say about Mufasa, right?
Nothing I want online.
Nothing positive.
Yeah, unfortunately.
It's
and
it
kind of sucks because I feel like I should like Lion King a lot more because it released the year I was born, which is like kind of cool. But at this point, I'm like, Lion King 1.5 is my favorite.
Yeah, that's what Steve said.
Yeah.
That's what Steve said.
It's really good. It's really fun.
Rosencrantz and Guildenstern is such a great adaptation. You want to talk about great adaptations. And this is just that for The Lion King, which is fucking genius.
But it has a lot of heart.
Oh, yeah.
I watched it we actually had that one on DVD, so I watched it like over and over a bunch. I just really enjoyed it.
Yeah. No, I
don't need a reason. I just liked it.
No, I agree. I actually want to see it again because I haven't seen it in over a decade. Like so long. I would love to see it again.
Ooh, want to do something fun?
Sure.
They just dropped the host and musical guest list for the next handful of episodes of SNL.
Oh, who we got?
For season 50. Wow. Mind you. So, September 28th. Host is Jean Smart, who I'm not sure who that is.
Oh, yeah. She's a older woman.
Is that... Okay,
yeah.
That's who I thought it might be. And musical guest is Jelly Roll, who I only know the face. I don't actually know what his
I know the name
like.
Because he's in a football commercial right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. October 5th, comedian Nate Bargatze. Don't know him.
Don't know.
Musical guest Coldplay. Very fun.
All right.
We love it. Week after that, Ariana Grande, definitely on the Wicked circuit. Musical guest Stevie Nicks, who has not performed on SNL since 1983.
Yeah, I was gonna say if this is their 50th year, they're gonna pull out some special things.
Oh, yeah. Week after that is Michael Keaton.
Hey, that'll be good.
Billie Eilish.
All right.
And November 2nd, which I think I'm gonna have to watch this episode, John Mulaney is hosting with musical guest Chappell Roan.
Hey. There's a double dip for you. Really put the conflict in millennials. Be like, Chapel Roan. And I love John Mulaney.
Here we have the fallen angel.
Yes.
And here we have the new fucking
the
Joan
new
of
hotness.
Chapel Ronar.
Yeah. The new hotness and the I'm not mad, I'm disappointed.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that's a great place to leave off the show.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, friends and enemies, for listening. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Kelly, for being here.
Come back soon, Steve.
Yes, Steve will be back eventually. We'll see how the next few weeks shake out, but he will be back.
Yeah.
Rings of Power will be back, and I hope that you will join us for some of the reviews for Rings of Power.
Yeah.
And lend your particular expertise.
I think I got it.
Yeah, because you know more about Lord of the Rings than me and Steve combined.
Probably.
And can check us on a whole lot of bullshit.
Speaking of checking on, where can the folks check you out online?
You can check us out at NerdPodGen. Our artwork has been done by Kortney Howell. Our theme is by Brendan Williams and James Connolly. I am Alfred Jutsum. This is my lovely wife, Kelly.
Hi.
And until next week, friends and enemies, we will be back.
Yeah.
Maybe with Steve, or
Hopefully.
maybe just with me and Kelly talking about the first 5 episodes of Rings of Power.
Oh boy.
Who could say? But we'll be back.
Yeah.
Have a great week, friends and enemies.
Take care, all.